Rivals brought to you by Utah Ice Centers has arrived, and I performed a magic trick. I went poof. Jason Buck turned into Jeremiah Jensen, sports anchor at KSL TV.
I'm Jason Buck. I just shaved. You got a haircut.
Exactly. That's what he looks like without the beard on, in case you wanted to know. He actually has blonde hair.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyways, Jeremiah is here with us today. We're glad to have you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the headlines in sports today. Now, I love golf. Like, golf is my passion. I love golf. And recently at the Players, it just happened this past week, they had all these marquee matchups, right? In the early round, they had all the young guys playing against all the old guys. So Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods were with Ricky Fowler. They had Justin Thomas, who's now world #1, with Jordan Spieth, and so they had kind of these really cool combinations. And then they had Jordan and Tiger paired together. And of course, that just happened because of the way the tournament was. But it was kind of a dud. So did you have any input on that or any care for golf, or do you like that they do that? Or
the second you say Tiger and Phil, that gets me interested because they have such a long history together. Two of the best golfers of this era. So yeah, that did get my interest, and it is disappointing that it didn't end up being more exciting, but that's what golf needs, right? It needs the big names to have big days and get us to tune in on a Saturday or a Sunday. So I like it, yeah. But, unfortunately it didn't work out the way that maybe they expected it to, but golf needs big names in order to boost the popularity.
Do you want to see the young guys play the old guys? Like,
yeah.
That's what to me, it's like, I want to see, okay, Jordan Spieth and some of these guys,
matchup.
It's like to see how they would really do. Because I was glued to the TV on Sunday, and I was really excited to see Jordan and Tiger play together, but it just didn't seem like anything happened that, Tiger kind of played well, but Jordan kind of fell flat, and he like 8-putted on 18,
right.
And so it was kind of a tough deal. Anyways, I'd like to see more of that in the future.
I agree with you, and I think it would really be exciting if Tiger got back to being Tiger again.
Right.
I think that's what everybody wants. Like, every time Tiger comes close to coming back, or he comes close to scratching the surface of his greatness, we get all excited. We can't wait to see what he's going to do, and then it doesn't work out because he's just not the player he used to be. We want that so bad. Golf needs that so bad. Because Tiger was the best there ever was when he was in his prime.
Isn't it hard to see him kind of be that way, though? Because he was so dominating. I watched him play, like, live and in person, and it was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. And I look at him now and I go, is he just really done? Or can he bring that back? Because he was so incredibly dominating when he was on his game.
I'm trying to think of a comparison in another sport where the most dominant, greatest athlete in that sport dropped off so quickly and then continued to play the sport but was never as good as they were before, and I can't think of one. Nothing comes to mind.
That's a good, I'll have to think about that myself.
Yeah, because
I can't think about it.
I'm trying to think of an NFL player that was so good for so long, and then all of a sudden, maybe Bo Jackson, but that was because of an injury.
But he kind of left after the injury.
He had to. He never played again. He never played down again, right? He just played baseball. So I can't think of one that's been trying to get back to that level of greatness, that still has time to get back to that level of greatness, you'd think, with their age and what they've accomplished. So there's really no comparison. We've never seen anything like it before. We expect so much out of Tiger every time he goes out, even though he hasn't done it for several years.
Okay, the Supreme Court has just ruled that it's up to the states, because there's no legislation governing legalized sports gambling by Congress. So each state gets to decide for themselves, we're going to either have it or not.
Yeah.
So first off, what's your initial take from that? Do you think this is going to be like a big boom, or what?
No.
How do you feel about it?
It's long overdue. I mean, people have been betting on sports even though it's been illegal anyway, right? I mean, other than Vegas, but people have bookies in Jersey. You know what I mean? Like, this is the mob's been involved in it for all these years. This is nothing new. Just making it legal, I don't think it's going to cause a big boom, and people aren't going to start, oh, I can gamble on games now? I didn't know that. Let me go do that now. I don't think it's going to have an impact like that. I think it is going to create new revenue streams for the leagues, because now they can profit from it. So it really changes the leagues. It might even impact the media, because it may change the way we talk about it, because we're not, in the past, remember, if you watched the NFL Today back in the day when Brent Musburger and Jimmy the Greek would sit around, it's like, what are they talking about exactly?
The line?
I didn't know when I was a kid. I was watching it. Dad, what are they doing?
What does that mean? It's like,
well, now the media can talk about these things openly, and it may end up where you start bringing on experts and people that analyze gambling and the numbers to
kind of like how they talk about fantasy sports, and they have shows
much
specifically.
In the same way. Look at all the content ESPN's generating from fantasy football. You could start doing the same, some of these media companies can, with legalized gambling.
So do you think that you mentioned the leagues will profit from this?
Yeah.
There's been some talk with the NBA and Major League Baseball. Are they going to try to get a piece of the pie? So their whole thing, their whole contention is, we've built this brand. We want to profit from what we've built. You guys are profiting from it, so we want a cut of the pie. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing, or can it lead to some of the compromises of players fixing games if that happens?
Well, time will tell. I mean, you look at Nevada, for instance. So it's been about a decade since they allowed people to bet on UNLV and Nevada games, and I don't know that there's been any kind of impact whatsoever negatively as far as that goes. I haven't heard of any. So that's been going on for a decade. So we can use that maybe as a precedent. I don't know if it's going to be the different with some of these pro leagues. Major League Baseball is kind of iffy on it. I know the NBA's all in; they're fine with it. Yeah. And so I think time will tell.
Because Mark Cuban is an owner, and he also owns Sports Radar, which is kind of it'll be a big component of like in-game betting. You can have all of the prop bets. We'll bet on the tip-off. We'll bet on who makes the first three-pointer or this player. If James Harden scores 40 points, is he more likely to do that tonight than I don't know, Justin Verlander pitching a no-hitter kind of thing? There are all these prop bets. And they have the statistics, they have them live, so they can do all the in-game betting. So he has kind of an ulterior motive.
Sure.
And, I mean, he's going to make some serious bank on this. Not that he hasn't already.
I absolutely might. And so, some of the other NBA owners may have a stake in something like that. I don't know. But clearly the league, the NBA, sees this as an opportunity to make more revenue. And anytime you have a chance to make more money, then they're on board. So we'll have to wait and see how this all pans out. I don't think it's going to increase the amount per se, like a huge number, but it will have an impact on how people perceive gambling, betting on games, and some of the revenue that comes from it. It could change a lot of industries, including the media.
It's an interesting take you have on that. You don't think it will make a difference, because I think there's going to be some impact. I think there are going to be states that are going to maybe bring in people. There's that world that says I'm going to bet on games no matter what, even if it's illegal. I got my bookie, the whole thing. But I think it will be introduced to a whole select group of people that didn't know that it was available, and now that it's readily available, and I don't know that they'll say, I'm going to go all in on this, but maybe they go, I might put $20 on this game just to see what happens. I could see some of that happening a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see how many states decide to legalize it. I don't think the state we're currently in right now is going to do that.
No, that's never going to happen.
But hey, Wendover and Vegas aren't that far away anyway.
Right.
So,
and there's like buses going all day long out to Wendover.
Easy to get a ride. Yeah, it's 90 miles west, they tell us.
Yeah, it's a very easy thing. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to ask Jeremiah a little bit about the games remaining in the NBA playoffs, the Utah Jazz, what you felt about that season, and kind of maybe what needs to happen to take it to the next level. You're listening to Rivals. We'll be back in a minute.